NASA attacks Elon Musk and SpaceX for years of delays because he's failed to deliver for the US taxpayer. Sean Martin of Express UK reports. Jim Bridenstine, who is the NASA boss, takes a thinly veiled shot at Elon Musk over SpaceX's chief's inability to meet his deadline to the US Space Agency. Now, while Elon Musk unveiled SpaceX's latest impressive rocket last week, the Starship, which is supposed to be reusable, he hopes will one day take humans to Mars. NASA boss Jim Bridenstine put a damper on all these proceedings. Back in 2014, SpaceX was awarded a multi-million-dollar contract by NASA to build a spacecraft which would take astronauts to the International Space Station. SpaceX, which was awarded the contract alongside Boeing, was meant to be ferrying ISS crew, but by now that is, but several delays, including the explosion during a ground test of the Dragon crew capsule in July, have set SpaceX back. Now, I don't understand, these private people, private enterprises have to do this. NASA has already supposedly taken people to the moon, so why don't they give the know-how so that these private companies can have a very good jumping off point so that they can build on what NASA knows instead of starting from scratch. For example, if they knew how to have a proper engine, after all, the astronauts went to the moon so many times and came back, then NASA should have given them a design for the proper engines. At least that way they would very easily have gotten to the International Space Station, ferrying the astronauts back and forth from the ISS. But they had to start from scratch. Anyway, Boeing was meant and SpaceX to be ferrying ISS crew by now. Several delays took place, including, in the case of SpaceX, the ground testing explosion of the capsule. I don't know what Boeing is doing, but now we're talking about Elon Musk and SpaceX. As a result, NASA has continued to rely on Russia's Soyuz rocket to take American astronauts to the ISS. That's very strange development. For me, I don't understand the logic of that. How is it that the country that took astronauts to the moon so many times and back has to use a country which it deems is its rival to take them into space and back? So NASA claims that it's not at all happy that Musk and SpaceX have not unveiled the Starship rocket, while promises that have been unfulfilled with the space agency. Bridenstine tweeted, "Commercial crew is years behind schedule. A NASA expert expects to see that the same level of enthusiasm focused on the investments of the American taxpayer, and it's time to deliver." But Musk hit back at Bridenstine, claims the delays reflect the industry as a whole. The South African-born billionaire, Musk of course, said that everything in aerospace is 8 years behind. Most of the work that is required from now through flight of NASA astronauts is a long series of safety reviews, so it's not really hardware related, and it's really going as fast as we can go. If there's some way to make it go faster, I would make it go faster, he said. Musk added that the commercial crew could begin delivering astronauts to the ISS within 3 to 4 months. The war of words calming down. Bridenstine tweeted that he had a great phone call with Elon Musk this week. He said, "I'm looking forward to visiting SpaceX in Hawthorne, California next Thursday." On Saturday, September 28, Musk unveiled a prototype of the Starship Mk1 rocket, which will be taking humans to the moon, Mars, and beyond, and of course will be reusable. Now standing in front of a prototype of the 164-foot or 50-meter tall 200-ton or 1,400 tons when fully loaded SpaceX Starship, Musk said that the rocket will be placed in Earth's orbit within 6 months to test the machine. The Starship prototype, displayed with SpaceX's original Falcon 1 rocket on Saturday, is constructed of eye-catching stainless steel instead than the carbon-composed or aluminum-based metal. This gives SpaceX Starship exceptional thermal properties and a lower cost. A refined Starship paired with a SpaceX Super Heavy booster stage will increase the rocket's height to 387 feet and is capable of carrying 220,000 pounds. This spaceship will also include the functions for orbital refilling, which will allow fuel to be transferred from spacecraft to spacecraft in Earth orbit, something which Mr. Musk said is easier to do than docking at the International Space Station. He said, "This is one of the other critical pieces of the puzzle to establish a base on the Moon or Mars. I think we should do our very best to become a multi-planet species, and we should do it now." Musk, who is also involved in Tesla, said manned flights could take place next year. He said that I think we could potentially see people flying next year if we get to orbit in about 6 months' time. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.